Hey, what's up, you guys? So, before I begin, I just want to say I deeply apologize for sort of the delay with the toy reviews. I know that I've been trying to sort of get around with at least pushing out at least maybe once a week or so. Kind of had some things kind of going on. And, the reason why I mentioned that, it's because obviously I didn't really specifically say what I was going to review next and all that, but hopefully, I'll get a little bit more into that towards the end of this video. But today, I just got to talk about Marvel Legends and some of their reveals, specifically with the Spider-Man No Way Home wave, which is great, you know. And of course, I think we were all kind of waiting for this to happen. I mean, I highly doubt that Hasbro was gonna just pass on that chance of making figures based off of some of the characters from the movie. So to kind of give some context for, in case anyone doesn't know, because you guys know me, I like to explain a lot about what's going on in these films and all that. So obviously, Spider-Man No Way Home is the third entry, for his for the MCU version of Spider-Man, and then he got accused of like killing Mysterio. His identity's been revealed, whatever. He goes to Doctor Strange and he's like, "Oh, can you do like a spell so that everybody doesn't know that Peter Parker's Spider-Man?" Shit goes wrong, shit goes down, and the next thing you know, a couple of different versions of Spider-Man's villains from different universes kind of all came into one. And obviously, not only was the movie like ginormous fan service, but it was still like a huge love letter to not only this bizarre plot of this film, but of course it featured the other Spider-Man, the Andrew Garfield one, the Tobey Maguire one, from like those past Spider-Man movies, So of course that was great to see. So why wouldn't you want to make figures off of that? You know what I mean? So that's great. We did get a wave for some of the figures, although I can't really say that it's a No Way Home wave. That's the Armadillo Man wave. I hope I got that right. Armadillo Man, he's somewhere between a Captain America villain and a Spider-Man villain. He's kind of stuck somewhere between those walls. But we only had like two figures just based off of the film. We had Doctor Strange, and then we had that Spider-Man figure with the with that weird night suit thing with a little bit of gold. I think you guys know what I'm talking about. But the point that I'm trying to make though is that it's great that they're still continuing that whole lineage of those figures. And the one that I want to talk about today is Doctor Octopus, because for sure, without a doubt, we all know it. Some of Spider-Man's greatest villains, it's either Green Goblin or Doc Ock. And for the record, yes, of course they also revealed Green Goblin. There was like a teaser pictures that kind of came out. Somebody actually had the actual figure. The box was pretty beat up for the most part. I don't know how they got it, so this definitely had to be somewhere like in another country or so where they got the figure, or maybe this is somebody leaking it from Hasbro. I have no idea. But eventually, it was officially revealed that we're gonna get a deluxe Green Goblin and a deluxe Doc Ock, which is fantastic. But he's the one that I definitely want to talk about the most, though, because listen, as someone who loves Spider-Man, listen, I want Green Goblin, but I want Doc Ock the most. I don't know what it is. Now, I kind of sort of grew up with the Sam Raimi films, kind of. I mean, I was born in 2001, and the first movie came out in 2002, and then the second one didn't came out until 2004. So you got that weird kind of discrepancy kind of going on. But don't get me wrong, even during its lifespan, even with the likes of Spider-Man 3, which came out in 2007, and this is specifically the one with Tobey Maguire, by the way, as Spider-Man, for the most part, they were still releasing a bunch of toys based off of some of those villains, from those past films or so. So that was great. So I am so happy that we are actually getting like an official release of these figures, and for the most part, they're gonna be revealed like they're gonna be released for the public. So go wherever you want, Walmart, Target, whatever, Fye, I don't know if you want to pay that high price, you'll get them. They're not like a Hasbro Pulse exclusive like that Spider-Man 3 pack that they did. That honestly, that pack was just so good to where it's unfortunate that that ended up being a Hasbro Pulse exclusive. Don't get me wrong, you had your fair share of people kind of complaining, not really happy with the set because it doesn't include the unmasked versions, like the different head sculpts. Because mind you, they actually did reveal that we're gonna get an Andrew Garfield and a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man without their masks. It's that you could see like their full faces and everything, which that's crazy. And we could talk all about that all we want. I definitely want to, but I want to talk about Doc Ock for sure. Doctor Octopus. All right. This might be a slightly long video, but I promise you it will be worth it because we gotta talk so much about like how great this figure is for the most part. When it comes to like most MCU figures, I think they're good. I think they're great for the most part. A lot of people, if you ask them, they don't really particularly like MCU figures, or that they just don't really collect them. I don't know why, to be honest. I think it's probably because when you compare like the comic book, characters to like the likes of the movies or the shows, like that, you get that weird sort of like kind of look going on. So I get it, I understand. But the thing is though, in the Marvel Legends line, it's so huge to where they'll make figures based off of pretty much any interpretation of the character. So it's like it doesn't really bother me per se. But for the most part, I haven't really seen anyone get upset over some of the Spider-Man stuff because, like I said, the movie included so many characters for sure. I mean, you had the return of Electro, you got Sandman. I mean, I'm trying to think of the Lizard. Now that I think about it, well, for the most part, they haven't. Not all the not all the characters got their figures yet. So it was revealed. I don't remember if it was Friday or Saturday. When they revealed it, I don't remember what. It was for like their Hasbro Con or so, where they revealed a bunch of new stuff. Basically they revealed a couple figures. So I'll go down the list for you. You got MJ, Matt Murdock, Sandman, the Toby and then the Andrew Peter. And then they also revealed, the Tom Holland Spider-Man. But that specific figure is like, spoiler alert, it's based mostly towards like the end of the film where the Tom Holland Peter, our MCU Peter, he has like this new suit on that he made himself. It's like the classic red and blue suit, and we're gonna get a figure of that, which is nuts. I was not expecting that. Uh, and of course, obviously, the fact that they're making Green Goblin was great. Now they're making Doc Ock. I think that's perfect because let's be honest though, the first Spider-Man movie that came out in 2002, as great as it was, the second movie for sure was like spectacular. It was like perfection. It was like, wow, it's the definition of a good sequel. And of course, it had a great villain, had an interesting story. So there you go. And the other thing too, when you go through the rundown of like Marvel Legends, we never really got that many like versions of Doc Ock to begin with. I mean, we had a lot, but like maybe not as much as we should, you know what I mean? Because this figure for sure, all the detailing and even like the outfit he wears, it's of course accurate. The giant tentacles that he has on his back, they're bendy wire, so you could definitely give him a nice couple of poses. Very similar to the recent one that they released for their Hasbro Pulse exclusive, with the Doc Ock and Aunt May 2-pack, which was based off of the animated series from the 90s. And I'll pretty much give you the rundown of like whatever all the figures we got. So from the top of my head, from what I've done for my research, we've had about, at least from the Marvel Legends toy line, we had about I want to say 7 Doc Ock figures. And this is specifically Marvel Legends. So we're not talking about those other toy lines where you got the Doc Ocks with the gimmicky action features and all that. And yeah, I know that there was also that weird one where he was like kind of huge or so. But that's more like a sort of a hybrid between like a statue with articulation and all that. And that's the one with like the really big feet. Long story short, I don't really count that one. I know it was part of some sort of weird subline that Marvel Legends was doing, but like I said, I wouldn't really count that one because that was less of a Marvel Legends, just more like a fancy, big, ginormous action figure that you can have, even though it looked really ugly and had ginormous feet. So I'll give you the rundown, right? So from the top of my head, all right. So you can prove me wrong if you want, okay? Cause I tried. First figure, there was the original, like, when Toy Biz was in charge, they did made a Doc Ock figure. He was pretty tiny. It said they had like 61 points of articulation, which, okay, Toy Biz, all right, we get it. And this was when they had the rights, to Marvel Legends. Cause they're the ones that started it all. Second one, in 2007, they released the Sandman Build-A-Figure wave, where, of course, that was the same year that the third Spider-Man movie came out, the Sam Raimi Spider-Man. And from the top of my head, if I remember, it was a weird wave because the Build-A-Figure was like Sandman, where he was all like kind of like big and stuff, but it wasn't accurate to the film. A lot of people consider it one of the worst Build-A-Figure, waves, whatever. and they do go for crazy expensive prices on eBay. And the cheapest one is Mary Jane. She's like the cheapest figure you could get, which okay. If you want to get that version of Doc Ock, they had, Doc Octopus. They got Green Goblin, New Goblin, Spider-Man in both his normal and his black suit, Mary Jane, and then they also had like a normal Sandman, and then of course Venom, which arguably that's like one of the more better figures in the wave. But I know that that's kind of controversial because I know that adding Venom to Spider-Man 3 was a decision that Sam Raimi was not happy about. But the point I'm trying to make though is that that figure of Doc Ock was of course based off of the original Spider-Man 2 film, so okay. But remember, it's an old figure from 2007, so you can't really expect perfection with it. Even if you want to look at the figure and all that, like I said, you're gonna be paying well over like maybe $200 or $400 just for that figure. So I don't know. Next version, I don't know if this was like the next version after. They did made like Doc Ock with like those classic like red. That no, not red. I'm such an idiot. Yellow and green. In his outfit. With the glasses and all that. He's kind of fat. He's a kind of big chungus kind of going on, and the giant tentacles that he have unfortunately were not bendable. That was the thing that people didn't like about the figure. And then eventually they did re-release it in the form of a two-pack, the same figure, slightly different paint. It came with Silk, which is like another weird version of Spider-Man. It's basically like an Asian lady, a Spider-Woman, basically, kind of like that. That was an Amazon exclusive. But same problem, the tentacles were not bendable and all that. I mean, I would still buy it, because it's Doc Ock and the tentacles, they're not posed terribly. And then I think even before that one, there was also Superior Octopus. That's kind of a weird one because that one is like it's him, but he took over like Spider-Man's body, kind of. That one I won't go too much into because I'm not my knowledge of that is not 100%. So I do apologize. And then of course there was the one that I mentioned before. We had the recently Doc Ock with Aunt May. It's a two-pack, and it's a Hasbro Pulse exclusive. You can only buy off of their website, unless you want to cough up a little bit of money on eBay. But. And now finally we got this new version that was just revealed, which is fantastic. I know that one complaint that a lot of people have was the box, because if you look at the box for it, it said Spider-Man 2 on it, which was interesting, but from 2004, but the design and that version of Doc Ock is based off of No Way Home, and obviously the cause his coat and all that, the stuff he's wearing is completely different from what he wore in Spider-Man 2. But the thing is, that's little stuff like that I can forgive because it's just a box, you know what I mean? It's not like, it's not gonna hinder the figure in any way. I understand the consistency part because when they revealed, the Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield Spider-Man, you'll notice that for the Andrew Garfield one, the cover is said The Amazing Spider-Man 2 because that's where he's from. He's from the Amazing Spider-Man films, that incarnation. Even though that figure of Andrew, that's obviously supposed to be based off of No Way Home because of the head sculpt. He even got a little bit of like the beard kind of going on. He's aged, because that's what happened. Our heroes are growing old, you guys. We gotta realize that. But it's the point that I'm trying to make though is Doc Ock is the goat. I'm super happy that he's getting a new figure, but one that where it's a movie based one. Because let's be honest here, he's definitely the type of character where I'm very surprised that he hasn't gotten like more figures. Because think about it, we have like so many versions of just Spider-Man. We got a lot of Venoms, a lot of Carnage, and maybe a little bit of like well, I know we've only gotten like maybe a couple of versions of Sandman and then Rhino stuff like that, but you know that for a big, huge villain like Doc Ock, a very popular one, you kind of expected maybe a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like, come on now. I hope we get other versions of Doc Ock in the future because there's definitely plenty more. Let's be honest here. I mean, come on. We don't even have one where he has like the white coat and stuff. You know what I mean? So I'm just saying, and I'm gonna point out too we got a classic, Amazing Fantasy Spider-Man. I think that's the proper name for it. So if we could get this, we should get other versions of Doc Ock as well. That's what I'm trying to say. Same goes for the other characters too. I would love to see Electro and then Lizard make a return for Marvel Legends. The MC, the No Way Home versions. So that's great. This opens up a lot of opportunities because, mind you, the last time we got a Doc Ock figure based off of the movies was when the boxes literally looked like this. Big, ginormous boxes that were only made just to fit the Build-A-Figure pieces, and the Build-A-Figure pieces weren't even that huge. The Sandman Build-A-Figure wave, I can forgive because he's meant to be a big, giant kind of figure, which, okay, that's cool, but it's like, I don't know. I mean, don't get me wrong. It was definitely one of the more better, waves during Hasbro's rise when Toy Biz fell. Because remember, Toy Biz used to own, they made Marvel Legends. They had the rights. Then they died out, disappeared from the earth. They got out of business. They don't exist no more. And we got Hasbro. And as much as people love to bitch and complain, come on now, don't miss out on these figures. Come on, don't do that. No, come on, just saying. All right. So I think that's about it. I don't got nothing else to say. I just wanted to just talk about it. Kind of, you guys know how I am. I'm kind of weird like that. I like to speak my mind about certain things. Even though I did say that I didn't want to talk about Marvel Legends stuff on this channel, only because I'm afraid that if I give off an opinion that people don't like, I don't want to get harassed for it. That's the last thing I want. I want to keep my channel as clean as possible, which is gonna be hard in the future, but it is what it is. And so back to what I was saying at the beginning of the video. So for next time, um, like I said, I'm supposed to do a toy review. It was either going to be a Ninja Turtle figure or an Ultraman figure. And the reason why I keep bringing it up so much, because I did brought it up in the community tab as well, is because I have noticed that some people have been kind of unsubbing. It's kind of been an on and off thing, and I think it's because it's those people that are tired of waiting for me to do a toy review, and I do apologize. So if you unsub, I mean, I don't blame you. I mean, please don't. But I understand. But remember, I never really promise when I'll put a review out. It's just whenever I have the free time to do it. I will always make one no matter what because I enjoy making those kind of videos. The point that I'm trying to say is, it's kind of hard to kind of get around to doing stuff like that when crazy stuff kind of happens in your schedule. Like I've been having like the worst week possible over a personal family matter. I won't go too much into it. Maybe I'll talk about it in the future. I don't know. Hard to say. So until then, hope you guys stay safe out there as always. And I would definitely love to talk about these packages in the future because like wow. I don't know. I just want to make a video talking about these, because and yes, I recently bought the X3 beast because I kind of like X-Men Last Stand, kind of. It's not perfect, but unpopular opinions. And trust me, you're gonna see a lot of that on this channel. All right, because I'm not going anywhere. I'm gonna keep making as many videos as possible. So that's about it. See ya.